COVID-19 protocols should not stop the gospel. ABG launches constituency independence-ready mission. And PNG records over 6,000 positive cases.
This is National EMTV News with Dennis Orere.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Friday's news. With COVID-19 cases and deaths on the rise, the Holy Week and Easter will be observed by few Christians in their respective churches and most in their own homes whilst practicing the new normal. Cardinal John Ribat said in a media conference this week that celebrations of the Holy Week will not be commemorated as usual. The Holy Week started on Palm Sunday last week. Whilst adhering to the new normal, Christians gathered in smaller groups to celebrate the Holy Thursday last night and Good Friday this morning. Good Friday is usually celebrated with the carrying of the cross by thousands of Christians around the city. Fidelis Aran, a parishioner at St. Joseph's Parish in Port Moresby, said Christians have to rise above this challenge of COVID-19 in faith.
I would like to urge all Catholics to pray for this COVID sickness. It is here to stay. From what I see, we must pray. It's not something by mistake. God allows everything to happen. Everything comes from God. So we must realize this, and we must pray for God's mercy. It is only through His mercy that He will save us.
As part of Holy Week celebrations, Christians in Papua New Guinea joined fellow Christians all around the world today to commemorate Good Friday, which is when Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross of Calvary more than 2,000 years ago. This is the second year in a row that Easter is being celebrated under strict COVID-19 protocols since the first COVID-19 case was established in PNG in March 2020. EMTV News visited a couple of churches in the nation's capital this morning where Good Friday church services were held. An internationally commemorated event that usually has packed church buildings and a Jesus March that used to have thousands of people walking the streets, Easter has not been celebrated in this fashion for the last 2 years with COVID-19 measures put in place by authorities. In Papua New Guinea, a country often been called a Christian nation with over 90% of the population being Christians or having some association with a Christian community, it has been a challenge for believers in continuing to practice their faith and hold regular church programs due to the high risk of community transmission given the surge in COVID-19 cases and deaths.
And it kind of increases as well as affect people for the last 2 years now. So I believe because we can't do much, because it's a sickness that is, very dangerous and also doesn't have a cure to it. It's very, very important that we abide to the rules and regulations that are given by the government. But important thing is we can't stop the gospel.
Just like other non-government organizations in the country, as well as the business community and government agencies, churches have tried to adapt to the new normal, even using modern technology to preach gospel messages and communicate with their church members. Amidst all this, some have raised questions on why authorities put strict restrictions on churches whilst PNG is being known as a Christian country, thus being caught up in a religious dilemma. And at Boroko United Church this morning, it was praise and worship as usual, as well as sharing of God's word and people trying as much as possible to adhere to COVID-19 preventative measures such as wearing of face masks, social distancing and hand sanitizing.
Like previously, especially the last year, it was a bit restricted because of the government COVID measures. It was really restricted last year, but this year for now, it's a bit neutral because of the number that been given. It's 50 members in a service or the gathering, and of course, it's a big event in a Christian calendar that because of the Good Friday, many believers a bit questioning about these COVID measures.
A short skit was demonstrated to commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus Christ by youths of the church, aided by some music and dance. Director of Evangelism Explosion PNG, Wari Pala, encouraged the congregation through the Word of God, focusing on the importance of Easter or the Holy Week for humanity.
The first one is our preaching will be profitless if Jesus did not rise from the dead. Number two, our faith will be foolish. We are going to waste our time saving who if Jesus did not rise from the dead. Number three, the disciples will be deceivers. They will be false teachers. You and I will be wasting our time preaching the gospel. If there was no Easter today, if there was no crucifixion of Jesus on the cross of Calvary, sin will be sovereign. All of us will be in sin and will be enslaved in sin and we will die in sin.
The staff of Kuruk Catholic Health Center in Western Highlands province received a fully kitted ambulance. It was a timely gift presented to them by the Morobe District Development Authority through local MP Koi Trape. The locals expressed gratitude, saying it was a dream come true for them, and now they can help save more lives.
A simple thank you was not enough to express the joy this Monjika tribe had when they received the ambulance yesterday. The small Kuruk Health Center, which has less than 10 staff, provides health services to more than 10,000 people. They had been using a private vehicle belonging to the Kuruk Primary School head teacher to transport very ill patients to Mount Hagen General Hospital. This ambulance will now ease their burden and will save more lives.
Bibla mas na belbla bibla got cry lig because this like me need true long all people way save long and sabla mama got bel bibla so karim lo will barra karim lo mambu this lig and plus bibla bagrap bibla kisim time stop. Now you can present him here.
The Mulbaya DDA, after hearing their story, brought them this Easter gift. DDA project manager Wesley Koki said they will continue to partner with church-run agencies to promote health and education sectors in Mulbaya for development. A funding was made available to upgrade the Kuruk Road to Bug and Quip so that health staff can use the ambulance to conduct awareness, immunization programs and out clinics.
Education health services plomibla lo Mulbaya na Lumusa district mibla looking mosem or plenty of agencies all go pass na mibla government mibla work in partnership what them all this line lo leadership lem honorable Koi Trape less lo lusim all agencies were or playing some important role of district plomibla so lo bianim this la mibla come through lo this la process now.
Mulbaya District Health Officer Albert Du Kapun said that Kuruk Catholic Health Center deserved the ambulance as it is one of the performing health centers in the Provincial Health Authority in achieving indicators such as immunizing children and achieving little infant mortality.
9 indicators which more than about 30% of death indicator. Na mama na pigni bangolongan and this is something by 7. Thank you.
The ambulance is custom made and is fully kitted with first aid kits such as oxygen bottles, cooler and IV stands. DDA CEO Wapio Bonobo encouraged the locals to look after the property so that it can last long to serve the greater population. The Kuruk area borders people from Mul, Agenhopen and the Tambul Nebilia people.
This will I set my stamina by looking all very big in here. Time mama like deliver on night and finding transport. This is a car and stuff. And when you have excuse after today, death it come up because of this like kind complication of death.
An agreement was signed between the health center, DDA, the locals and the Catholic agency on the rules of engagement for the ambulance. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The autonomous Bougainville government has taken a bold step in its independence aspiration with the launching of the Constituency Independence Ready mission yesterday. Following the Bougainville independence motion passed in November last year, it calls on Bougainvillians to make it their duty in ensuring that Bougainville is prepared to attain full sovereign powers as an independent state.
The Bougainville Independence Mission calls on every constituency member to provide leadership in ensuring their constituencies are independent through the progress of socio-economic development. The Independence Ready mission passed in the House of Representatives last November was launched yesterday in Tane village by President Ismail Toroama.
Independence must come up. Suppose you walk long, wait long, independence. You walk long, German you.
Following the success of the Bougainville referendum, the journey to independence remains a top priority under President Toroama as he begins his tenure in leading the region. And this motion is one step towards preparing Bougainville for full sovereign powers as an independent state.
Government belong me, you know, got fallback plan. Pamipla, he continuing this la consultation, now make him so national government. Time go let me give him a barely see. And by ratify him 98%.
Moreover, it encourages leaders to be agents of change. This, Toroama says, can be achieved through good governance, whilst maintaining the pillars of the Bougainville Peace Agreement.
Time you stop nothing, you not realizing this la vision belong independence also you one pillar. You are so important that pillar you stand up belong him. One on one, one family, one community. Suppose you know work long making this la work. Belong ready more people belong you. Inside long or constituencies belong you me throughout the Bougainville. Then you walk away to on him.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. Among stories after the break, Morobe nurses appeal to provincial health authorities, vendors raise concerns over police behavior, and more MPs join Pangu Party. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Papua New Guinea has recorded 363 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of positive COVID-19 cases in the country to 6,475. This was announced by National Control Center Deputy Incident Manager today.
From the 363 new cases announced, NCD recorded the highest number of 186 new cases. From this, 100 cases showed symptoms of COVID-19, while 64 are asymptomatic at the time of testing. Western Province recorded the second highest of 64 cases. Other provinces with new COVID-19 cases includes East New Britain with 58 new cases, Morobe with 8, Simbu with 21, Southern Highlands with 8 and Hela with 2. Single cases each were recorded in East Sepik, ANGAU, Jiwaka, Medeng and New Island provinces.
Total number of provinces with reported cases is 20. Now, of all our provinces, all of them are actually collecting samples. So we don't have issues with the other two provinces that have not reported any cases. They have been sending their samples in for RT-PCR. They also have testing capacity.
To date, NCD has recorded 48 COVID-19 related deaths, whilst West Sepik has reported 3 deaths. West New Britain, Western Highlands and Western Province recorded 2 deaths each. ANGAU, Jiwaka and Morobe recorded 1 death each, bringing the country's death toll to 60.
Total of tests completed for COVID-19 in the country is 67,741. Number of tests pending lab results, so we are expecting results back from PNG IMR, Goroka, Singapore and Brisbane, and the pending results for the pending samples are 3,600. 689.
The distribution of cases in the country saw NCD with the highest number of 2,945 cases, Western Province with over 1,400 cases, West Sepik with 327 cases, with Morobe, Eastern Highlands, East and West New Britain Province just over the 200 mark. Western Highlands and the autonomous region of Bougainville has over 100 cases, with the other provinces below the 100 mark.
I think one of the main challenges that we have now is complacency in the public, and actually the public to follow the measures that are out there.
Globally, the total confirmed cases is over 127 million, with over 509,000 cases recorded in the last 24 hours. The death toll stands at over 2.7 million, of which over 8.8 million were reported in the last 24 hours. Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
Doctors at the ANGAU Memorial Hospital walked off their jobs yesterday afternoon after being denied a response from the hospital administration and the Department of Personnel Management on outstanding gratuities and staff shortage. The Morobe PHA National Doctors Union had presented a number of petitions on these concerns to the administration, however claimed that they never received any tangible response.
As of 4:06 p.m. yesterday, doctors at ANGAU walked off their jobs to show their frustration over the ignorance of the hospital's management and the Department of Personnel Management to respond to a number of petitions on outstanding gratuities and staff shortage. The union stated 3 reasons to justify the move to stop work. Their reasons were failure by the hospital's management to respond to numerous petitions and failure to respond to the medical shortage issue despite attempts to raise this issue, and failure by the hospital's management to honor the annual gratuity payments for the year 2020 to contracted officers. The union president, Dr. Barry Mutang, said they have not received a written response from the hospital management to date.
No written responses. We've had phone conversations with the CEO, but these responses are not addressing our concerns.
The union has presented 3 demands to the management to act on. Their demands are for the management to provide formal response by written correspondence to all petitions of August 2020 to date, and to recruit, process and replenish the medical officer shortage following the infection of 39 staff with COVID-19, and to ensure the overdue gratuity entitlements are paid forthwith. Dr. Mutang said the doctors will resume their duties when these demands are met.
They cannot take it anymore. So I have no option but to allow our community and our responsible authorities to be aware that our officers will not be coming to work as of 4:06 today until our petitions or demands are met.
Meanwhile, attempts by MTV Lay to get a response from the MPHA CEO, Dr. Kepas Binga, was unsuccessful. Charlene Airy, National MTV News, Lay.
The Morobe Nurses Association President, Sister Siling Awasa, says the lack of human resources and medical supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic is taking its toll on an already fragile public health system in Morobe. This has been an ongoing concern, and the union is now calling on the Morobe Provincial Health Authority, including the provincial leaders, to urgently look into these issues. Their call comes a day after doctors from the ANGAU Hospital walked off their jobs following similar concerns.
These are Nurses Union representatives, senior public health and ANGAU officers. With the recent surge of COVID-19 cases in the province, Morobe Nurses Association President Sister Siling Awasa said this has caused more strain on an already fragile public health system.
We have an aging workforce. We have a workforce that can't handle the COVID-19 surge that we're having now.
Their concerns stem from years of neglect on the public health system that is now being tested by the COVID-19 pandemic. For years, urban clinics and aid posts in Morobe have faced staff shortages, delays in medical supplies and rundown infrastructure, amidst many other issues. With limited staff working through this pandemic, health workers have fallen ill, adding to the strain on manpower.
And most of our health workers have already been infected. It is affecting the daily operations of the COVID center, also our health facilities in the city especially.
And imagine if someone from Siasi or Menyamia is gasping for air, how do we get that patient quickly to the COVID-19 hospital?
In a petition addressed to the Morobe Provincial Health Authority, the nurses have demanded that vacant staff positions be filled, proper infrastructures be built, and more funding made available for health programs. They've also called on the 9 MPs of Morobe and the authorities to look into these issues seriously.
We will not hesitate to take further action like walking off our jobs. We are also human beings. We are not immune to COVID-19. That's right. We are not immune to the stigma and the discrimination that happens within the community.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Vendors in the nation's capital have raised concerns on how they are being treated by members of the police in this time of the pandemic. They have been beaten by members of the police with their markets destroyed. They say although they are aware of the pandemic, this is their only way of making ends meet.
Their concerns come after an incident that happened this morning at NCC Valley in the nation's capital. The betel nut vendors claimed that the police destroyed their table markets of betel nut and cigarette packets that were on sale. Bags of betel nut worth hundreds of kina were also destroyed.
Blo mama davia travel one blo pump set and buy na put him longen. Na blo na blo boy babla the table there. Capturing one blo pump set or same to no stop longen. Na halfway capturing one them no carry go. Now blow me karam lik boy kam logan one them back all comes at them taroma lo up minus kele yet all kishim go.
With the national isolation strategy announced last month, several measures are being enforced. This includes mandatory mask wearing, social distancing and to avoid public gathering. While the vendors are aware of these measures, they say this is their only source of income to sustain themselves in this pandemic and they must be treated fairly.
Community mi bla Klim kage low way, lockdown ya time. So me live in Blo me am go spoiling. So police commissioner, police commander lo NCDC. Enforce him desola samdino no gat. Enforce him too. Must talk sabalo me bla. Make him awesome. Sidan me bla lo good bla way.
According to the vendor, they are complying with the new Plapasin protocols by practicing basic health and safety measures in their area, and that includes cleaning their marketplace, mask wearing and social distancing. This is also one way of keeping the youths off the streets, and stopping them may lead to other law and order issues in the city.
One merisa walk about this CC camera. No got rascal passing. Now planted amos like phone lo tamblo lo 8 colia. Narana badia senap ogeran lo morda sa roni migo gerolan or roni migo wegeni osem people say walk about free na place lo yami bla lusim open space okay criminal bego west or gazatu.
They say vendors are continuously being mistreated during this pandemic just for doing what they do on a daily basis to sustain themselves, and the authorities must step in to address this issue. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
A Ward 2 area in Hagen Urban recently launched its development association to partner with authorities and agencies to address law and order problems in the city. The start of this year has not been good for the city, and the association committees believes that issues can only be addressed at the community level up.
It was a small but a significant event which saw cultural dances performed by the city residents from New Ireland, East New Britain, Medang and the Morobe groups. The association is mainly made up of the families of the police personnel, teachers and those from other provinces who have made Western Highlands their home. Ward 2 Councillor and Association Chairman Newman Hafen says the main objective is to address petty crime activities in the city, the increased unemployment rate and unwanted pregnancies by teenagers.
Job opportunity. We need a plenty growth, great post dropout staff, university growth dropout staff, or private training institution and dropout staff, or pila blogada, opportunity and staff. So we play creating association, at least helping or youth from
Women's Rep Monica Torres said many of the girls who have dropped out of school in primary and high schools had to get married early or get unwanted pregnancies just to put food on the table. She said such association could provide literacy and financial inclusive trainings for women and girls to have a better life.
And this plan by helping married. Because kind of some people marry a settlement and people are up long kissing or kaiga or wara long bush or garden no that people town. Things get worse when we look at the youth who are below the poverty line and live in slums and poor environments.
Mount Hagen City Manager Jim Penna encouraged the association committee to be truthful with the aims and mottos for the government to support them financially. Penna said authorities need such partnerships at the community level and says it has already gotten the attention of the local MP William Duma, who will support them financially to address issues together.
We look in planning something. Need him change. Need him effort for everyone. Need him effort for police. Effort for all development partners. Help for all NGOs. Need him help for 1 month, one married in a beginning in the community. Someone see me how they can put him hand one time, work one time. You can change him again.
State agencies such as PNG Power, Water PNG and donor partners from the United Nations and Care International were there to officially launch the association. Vasanatha Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Pangu Party has welcomed 4 new members. Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta, Wapinamanda MP Rimbing Pato, Menyamia MP Benjamin Philip and Mosby Northeast MP John Kaupa joined the party yesterday and were welcomed by party leader and Prime Minister James Morobe. The Prime Minister maintains that the government is intact following last year's vote of no confidence.
We have made reconciliation with some of our former members who left us. In the contest that took place last November, we lost 4 from the Pangu ranks. Of the 4, the Honourable Francis Manake and the Honourable Sasi Mutuwal has reconciled their issues with us. And we're also talking to others who are in discussion with us, but for the purpose of today's announcement, we have 4 very distinguished leaders in their own right who have announced that they will come back or has joined us in Pangu Party. I make special mention on the Honourable Chris Haiveta and the Honourable Rimbing Pato in the sense that they themselves are senior leaders, but they also have been leading very senior political party in our country.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. With an emotional win against Ipswich Jets in round 2 of the Intrust Super Cup, the SPPNG Hunters are looking forward to round 3 where they will take on the Mackay Cutters, their first game away from base Runaway Bay in Gold Coast.
MTV Sports Scene Zoom session yesterday featured Brandon Nima, PNG Hunters centre, giving a review of round 2's onslaught against the Ipswich Jets. While round 2 was a thriller for the boys, round 1, according to Nima, was an unfortunate loss by 2 points to winner Manly, despite giving their all.
Sacrifice a lot local this first one. We don't take this game lightly first around. We play aiming for the win, but unfortunately,
Playing at the new home Bycroft Oval in the Gold Coast, Hunters showed no mercy in round 2 of the Intrust Super Cup against the Ipswich Jets. Amongst a streak of tries, a hat-trick by Brendan Gutuno, Terry Wapi's single and a double by Epel Capinius, his first tries for the club.
Yeah, first try boga to low club, so just some master. Logically try boga about yeah. Message some second half just walk lo namel backside to rack boga also. I mean poten half we just running all down now. Backpedaling sa time we have been running ball goal of Kona semisil on bigas lumla, especially namesake lumi Gutuno score dribble try so.
Hunters will take on Make Cutters in round 3 on the 10th of April, the first away game from base. The team is waiting on Coach Church for the game plan.
Coach and talk me at one game plan, but me just play one all Cutters, but as me training or this week goes on leading to game time, I think just put your on tips where me need to walk on.
Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
The weather report for the next 24 hours after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus. With you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, Alotau, cloudy with few showers. Daru, showers and thunderstorms. Port Moresby, Kerema and Popondetta, cloudy with rain periods. To the Momase region, all centers to have cloudy periods with brief showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Kavieng, partly cloudy with brief overnight showers. Partly cloudy for Kokopo and Rabaul. Kimbe, cloudy with a few showers. And in the Highlands region, all centers to have some showers, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus. With you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Friday, the 2nd of April 2021. From all of us here at MTV, have a safe Easter weekend, pleasant viewing, good night.